What we do here is go back.
Pickleball. It's not just for the geriatrics and the nursing home anymore. And honestly, I would venture to guess that due to the amount of broccoli head youth that are now playing pickleball, I would think that the older people probably think that it's too woke to be enjoyed by them and their elderly colleagues. Pickleball is kind of like this sport that's a combination of badminton, tennis, and ping pong, and they had some kind of weird child with like overly complicated rules and a court that is too small to even have a good game. I mean, let's be honest, if you're not trying to run down the court and turn around at ankle-breaking speeds, then is it even really a good game at all? Or sport? Is it a game or a sport? I actually don't even know if it's classified as a... Is it a sport?
If you want to exercise, you want a sport that's fun. I hate running. I hate bicycling. I hate walking. But I love playing pickleball.
Let's do a quick Google here. Is pickleball a sport? Pickleball is a paddle sport that combines elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong using a paddle and a plastic ball with holes. I didn't even know that was actually what it was combining. I just made that joke earlier and didn't realize that it actually was a combination of those three things. So, also, I kind of forgot what I was Googling. Is it a sport? I mean, what makes a sport a sport? What is a sport versus a game? A sport is a human activity, very human activity involving physical exertion and skills as the primary focus of the activity. Okay, so I don't know. That was kind of a weird deep dive. I don't think we necessarily needed to question the difference between sport and game at this point. Okay. I didn't even know that pickleball was like a thing that people over the age of like 12 played, because I remember back when pickleball came in like the big like pack of like campground toys that you would buy that would come with like badminton and shuttlecock and pickleball. Up until a few years ago, I was at my friend Adam's house and we were playing tennis at the tennis court at his neighborhood, and while we were playing, this old guy came up and was like telling us how great pickleball was while we were in the middle of playing tennis. And I didn't understand why he was trying to like convince us that pickleball was like this great game when we were already playing tennis. Like, is tennis not kind of like a better game to be playing? Pickleball is obviously blown up. I didn't really think that it had been that big of a deal until I started seeing pickleball stuff at Target. For example, there was all kind of pickleball related water bottle holders and water coolers and hats and everything at the $5 section at Target. And then moving beyond that, there was an entire section of pickleball related clothing at Target as well. And so it moved on from being this sort of kids game to then being this more elderly person's game to now being this like super mainstream sport that everybody's playing, to where now you have to buy the most expensive racket and balls from Target and they have a whole section that's dedicated to it. A while back, me and my wife wanted to go play, and I remember looking at some of the rackets and stuff, and they're like $50 to $100 a piece for just one. I was blown away that this sport required you to buy such an expensive racket as a beginner. There wasn't like a beginner level racket. That was the beginner level racket, was like the $50 one. Meanwhile, I can buy a tennis racket for $20 all day long. So I started getting a little suspicious. Why had all of a sudden pickleball became extremely popular and also everything was crazy expensive for it? It began to make me think that pickleball was some sort of industry plant. Like, nobody really wanted it and nobody really had asked for it, but the powers that be had decided that, hey, we really need everybody to get involved with this. We need to convert all of our tennis courts to pickleball courts. We need to build more tennis courts that we can then use for pickleball courts. And we need to charge all the broccoli-headed youth an exorbitant amount of money for pickleball mallets, pickleball balls, pickles, visors, shirts, paraphernalia. We need to charge all of the youth exorbitant amount of money for all this stuff. So is pickleball an industry plant? Is it some sneaky little tool to make us all spend our money on some weird sport where you have to hit some weird wiffle ball with a paddle? Let's break it down. So, according to the Sports and Fitness Industry Association, pickleball grew by 22% from 2019 to 2021, making it one of the fastest growing sports in the US. And in 2023 alone, there were over 4.8 million players in the US. That's a ton of people playing in a pretty big amount of growth for something that nobody had even like heard of over 5 years ago, or for a sport that had been mostly played in the nursing home or at the campground. So what's fueling this surge? What's fueling all this growth? Why are there so many people playing it? We had everybody's favorite trash-talking daytime talk show host, comedian, actor, Ellen DeGeneres playing pickleball on her TikTok and on her YouTube as well. You can watch Ellen playing pickleball with Andy Lassner, whoever that is, on the Ellen Show YouTube channel. And of course, I watched it. You know how much I love Ellen. This is a time to check out my Ellen video in case you haven't already. I'm looking at who Andy Kastner is. I don't even know who Andy Kastner is. I'm literally having to Google Andy Lassner. Okay, well, I'm a big idiot. Okay, so for quick backstory, Andy Lassner is a television producer. He was the executive producer of the Ellen DeGeneres Show and Rosie O'Donnell Show and a bunch of other daytime talk shows like that. He's won 18 Daytime Emmy Awards. Okay, so pretty big deal. So him and Ellen are playing pickleball. And is it because they're geriatric and they've just finally hit the age to play pickleball? I don't think so. I mean, Andy is 57. How old is Ellen? 80, 85? Ellen is 66. Okay, pretty close to nursing home age. So maybe there's an argument to be made there that they're just playing because they just genuinely enjoy pickleball and it's the time to play. The description is Ellen takes on Andy Lassner in the fastest growing senior sport. So even there, they're talking about it being the fastest growing senior sport. Okay, so obviously Ellen and Andy are both seniors. And I don't think that Ellen's demographics are that young, like mid-20s or younger, where people would see this and think, oh, it's pretty cool to start wanting to play pickleball. So I don't think they would see this and start wanting to play pickleball. But it's also interesting that they would start playing this and put it on the Ellen Show in September 30th, 2023, which is definitely when pickleball was really starting to pick up more speed. I remember last year, one of my friends skipped like a Father's Day get-together thing because they had to go play in a pickleball tournament that day. And I was just like, I didn't even know you played pickleball. And they're like, I didn't. I've started playing like last week, so I'm gonna go play and like be in this tournament. So it's just weird to think that all of a sudden it's like blowing up. So let's dive a little bit deeper. What exactly is the cause of this? Okay, so Ellen says fastest growing senior sport. Why does she say the fastest growing senior sport? Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the United States and has increased in popularity in recent years. Some reasons for its growth include low barrier to entry. I already said that. Pickleball is easy to learn, even for beginners, has a low cost to entry. Low cost, my ass. $100 mallet things, paddles or whatever. Paddles and balls are affordable, my ass. And the game is slower paced and less physically strenuous than tennis, also my ass. Social activity. Pickleball courts are smaller than tennis courts, allowing players to have conversations while exercising. Yeah, but they pack 2 pickleball games in 1 tennis court. So yeah, socially distanced. During the COVID-19 pandemic, pickleball became a popular outdoor activity that allowed people to stay active while maintaining social distance. You just said the pickleball courts are smaller. Okay. So right now my argument for pickleball being an industry plant isn't looking so good. Like, it just so happens that Ellen DeGeneres is playing, but it's a senior sport. She's a senior. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe it just happened she picked it up and now everybody else is picking it up. Who else has been playing pickleball? Leonardo DiCaprio plays pickleball every day. Interesting. And since when? Since when has he played? So not only has Ellen been playing it, Leonardo DiCaprio apparently plays it every day. It's also been embraced by Larry David, Melinda Gates, Jamie Foxx, the Kardashians, Owen Wilson, Jillian Michaels, and Zach Braff. Reese Witherspoon mentioned pickleball in a birthday post to her husband. George Clooney says his wife routinely tortures him on their home court in LA. Home court pickleball? What's going on? Survivor winner Tyson Apostle has parlayed his reality TV fame into a career as a pickleball influencer. What is it? I didn't even know pickleball influencer was a thing. As soon as I read the Kardashians played it, I was like, wow, is that like now pickleball influencing is a thing? See, I don't watch television. I don't watch the Kardashians. I'm not saying that as like a... Okay. All right. Okay. So we've got Survivor winners who are pickleball influencers. We have the Kardashians playing pickleball. But why though? I still haven't got down to the reason of why people are suddenly starting to play this. Like, I understand that people are playing it and it's become popular, but why? I don't understand. So let's look at like strategic marketing and promotions. This can't just be like your simple run-of-the-mill word of mouth growth because you have the freaking Kardashians playing it, okay? Pickleball influencers are a thing. So this isn't just word of mouth growth. There's some serious money or some sort of strategic marketing behind this that is making pickleball be the sport to play. So first of all, we have an increasing number of pickleball ads. We have Franklin, Onyx, Selkirk. These brands are everywhere and they're selling pickles and balls and paddles, and they're also selling clothing. I already mentioned seeing all the print stuff in Target earlier this year. And of course, all these brands are using targeted social media campaigns to reach a younger audience, because if you want anything to pick up steam, you market it to the young and impressionable on TikTok and other social media platforms. What else is out there? Snapchat? They got pickleballs in Snapchat? They definitely got pickleballs in Snapchat. And of course, if brands are advertising on social media, they're also working with influencers. We've got fitness influencer, lifestyle bloggers, professional athletes, all of these people who are on social media being paid to promote pickleball. I just Googled pickleball influencers because I wanted to see who these people were. Top 100 pickleball influencers in 2024. So you're telling me that there are so many pickleball influencers that there's a list of 100 people and it's only the top 100. There are more than 100 pickleball influencers. I didn't even know that more than 100 people played pickleball until this year. I mean, the list just like goes on. I don't know who any of these people are, and I don't mean that because I'm old and I don't know who young people are on the internet, but there's just so many people. I don't get a lot of pickleball ads. I just happen upon a world full of pickles, and okay, it's done. Okay, I'm done making the pickle joke. I'll make a few more pickle jokes, and of course there's also content marketing that goes along with this. I was gonna go play the other day, me and my wife were, and I was like, how do I don't even really know the rules that well. And of course, like, there's 1,000 tutorials on TikTok, there's 1,000 tutorials on YouTube, and they're like high quality content to educate people about the sport. So not only are there social media advertising, people are paying influencers to promote pickleball. Celebrities are now super obsessed with pickleball, and brands are switching over from producing clothing for tennis particularly to pickleball attire. Didn't even know you played pickleball in certain clothing, but apparently you do, because there's clothing made just for pickleball. And then on top of that, brands are also producing high quality tutorials so that you'll want to play and then buy whatever they're selling to make your pickleball game better. So all these strategies combined created the perfect storm of artificial demand. So people aren't just experiencing pickleball by chance. They're being nudged and pushed into wanting to play in a very calculated marketing effort. I've mentioned before, the sport's like popularity is not organic. It has been artificially created. But why though? Why create this artificial demand for pickleball? Also, if you don't know what like false demand or like artificial demand marketing is, it's essentially like something that has been released. Artificial demand or manufactured demand constitutes demand for something that, in the absence of exposure to the vehicle of creating demand, would not exist. It's kind of like the pump and dump strategy in cryptocurrency. There's not really a demand for it. Somebody puts a lot of effort into promoting it. A lot of people go and buy that thing, and then whoever owns that thing sells all of what they have of it, and now they're better off and they've made a ton of money, and the people who bought it are just left like with the thing. There wasn't really a demand for it, but something out there created some FOMO, some fear of missing out, and so people flock to whatever that thing is. So next time you see a pickleball ad or hear somebody raving about it, or your friend wants you to go buy a freaking $100 paddle, just keep that cynical thought in your head of, hey, this is not real. Nobody actually wants to play pickleball, but we've all been led to believe that, and all your friends fell for all of the marketing and the influencer ads and everything out there, and now you're being stuck with a $100 bill to buy this paddle. So I mentioned earlier in the video that this demand has caused rec centers and cities to either build more courts or turn their existing tennis courts into pickleball courts, or do both. In the case of where I live, multiple rec centers have built like 10 more courts, and they've all been converted into pickleball courts. So obviously there's been a massive push to build new pickleball courts and convert existing tennis courts into pickleball courts. According to the USA Pickleball Association, there are over 8,000 locations to play pickleball in the US, which is double the number from just a few years ago. So, Ellen DeGeneres is to blame. She played pickleball, and then Leonardo DiCaprio played pickleball, and then the Kardashians played pickleball. And now our hard-earned tax dollars are going to turn all of our tennis courts into little pickleball courts. And it's not just public parks that are getting in on the action. There are also private pickleball clubs opening up everywhere. Because of course there would be private pickleball courts. It was already an old person sport anyway, and you know how old people are. They love to have clubs and make rules for it. Why do you think the HOA exists? So, private pickleball clubs are popping up, offering exclusive memberships and like super nice, top-notch facilities. Luxury resorts are adding pickleball courts to their amenities, and these resorts are also marketing pickleball as like, that's the big thing to do while on an active vacation. And people are literally buying into it. They are going to luxury resorts so they can go play pickleball. So, cities that have invested in infrastructure, like, have seen a boost in local economies, which is always a good thing. Obviously, tournaments and leagues are going to attract visitors, and they're going to spend money on hotels and restaurants and all these things. And the economic impact for pickleball in 2023 was over $60 million. So after creating all this false demand, all of these cities and resorts start investing in courts and converting tennis courts into pickleball courts so we can bring tourists here to play tournaments, so you can spend money at the local restaurants and boost our local economies. I mean, sounds like a pretty good deal. If pickleball means our roads are going to get paved, they won't get paved. They're not going to pave our roads. Then I guess pickleball isn't really that bad of a thing now, is it? And let's not forget, like, the equipment sales. I've already talked about how much the freaking paddles are. So if people are building more courts and more people are going to go play, obviously they're going to be selling more equipment. So they're going to be pumping out more equipment for people to buy. Equipment sales are going to go through the roof. I'm going to say equipment 10 more times instead of saying pickle. I'll just start saying equipment ball, you know what I mean? And then you also have brands who weren't like tennis-based brands before jumping in on the pickle train. You've got companies like Margaritaville, Skechers, and Jigsaw Health sponsoring tournaments and professional players. Skechers makes sense, like Skechers makes athletic shoes. A lot of times they seem like they're aimed towards the older people, so that makes sense. Margaritaville, I mean, Parrot Heads, you know, they're retired Jimmy Buffett listeners. They kind of fit the demographic of the elderly pickleball players. But I don't think they would have invested in these kind of things before. Even though they fit that demographic, I don't think that, like, 3 or 4 years ago, Skechers or Margaritaville would have sponsored a pickleball game because nobody would have seen it. Like, nobody would be watching a pickleball game on TV. Or even going to a tournament, unless it was your grandmother's tournament, and you knew that was going to be the last pickleball game she was ever going to play before you were going to be hitting her ashes over the net. Sorry if that was a mean joke. Oh, grandmother. When I die, please spread my ashes over the pickleball court. So we've talked about the media hype, the strategic marketing, the massive investments in influencers and new infrastructure. So, like, what's the final verdict? Like, who is winning from this? Whether or not you think that pickleball is like an orchestrated cash grab, you have to admit that you've noticed that it's grown crazy. And I want to know who is making all the money from this, and how did I miss out on this money in the beginning? How do I become friends with the people who know what the next big thing is? Because I want to invest in some pickleball or whatever the next big thing is. Maybe the next big game is going to be shuttlecock. Let's make shuttlecock the next big game. I really think that'll be. I mean, we're already at pickleball. I mean, it's already. Pickle is pretty close. Like, we'll just go ahead and just say it next with shuttlecock. It's clear that pickleball's rise is not entirely organic. There's a cycle of artificial demand at play here. So again, we've got media hype and marketing to create the initial interest. The interest leads to investments in infrastructure and clothing and brand deals and endorsements and influencers. Those investments generate more hype and the cycle continues. You know, it's a well-oiled machine. And again, I want in on that. How do I get the pickleball money? Going back to the topic at hand, you know, who's making the money from this? Obviously, sports companies like Franklin and Onyx and Prince, they're going to be making a lot of dough from the increased interest in pickleball. And how I feel like this has been different than other sports in the past is that like tennis, baseball, softball, football, basketball, whatever, like those sports like always like exist. Like they've kind of always been around. Like, you know, that people are going to be playing them, people are going to be interested in them. And if you see an influencer playing football in their backyard, like that's not a weird thing. But you start seeing an influencer playing pickleball in their backyard. Now that's kind of crazy because pickleball is like not this sport that's ever been like aimed at the younger generation, and it's just not something that you see a lot. So seeing somebody do that, it's kind of like this weird thing. There's an increased demand for it. Influencers are playing it. The Kardashians are playing it. I'm gonna be missing out if I don't learn how to play. So I've got to go buy the stuff. So there's a lot of reason for the brands themselves to sort of create this demand. Like, okay, we've plateaued on sales for tennis equipment, for tennis shoes, or we've plateaued on sales for basketballs or footballs or whatever. We've plateaued on sales in clothing because people aren't just buying like regular Nike t-shirts and shorts anymore. They're buying these other brands like Fabletics or the things that they see on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. We've got to create something new that we already have the capability to create, but we just need to create more demand for it. So there's a big incentive for them to then create artificial demand so that they can sell things that they already kind of sell, but just like in a different way. Like just take your tennis shirt and turn it into a pickleball shirt, right? So then they start getting in cahoots with event organizers and promoters. Big brands tell event promoters and organizers that they're going to be ramping up production of pickleball stuff, and we need the infrastructure for it. There's probably some shaking of hands and some investments there. They're selling the idea of investing in this or vice versa. Maybe it could actually be a situation where the big brands are investing in real estate and event organizers and promoters. Like they're putting money in the pockets of all these people to create the spaces for people to play. So as they ramp up this artificial demand, they have somewhere to go and play. And then same with like health and fitness centers. They're going to find some way to either invest in them or promise some sort of profit sharing model where then they're going to create this demand for it. All they have to do is get the media and content creators and influencers in on it, and it's a sure thing. If they're going to explode, it's going to go off the rails. Just like every big trend on TikTok or Instagram or social media or whatever, once your favorite influencers are making content about it, it starts snowballing, and from there it becomes a cash cow. Everybody involved in this ladder can join in and all get a piece of the pie. So thinking about it, the ladder that way, the verdict, at least how I'm voting, is pickleball an industry plant? Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, I think so. I mean, yeah, the sport is like genuinely fun to play. But again, you're probably not going to play it over tennis for the most part unless there's like a reason to. I mean, there's like growing up, there's always been more tennis courts. Like it was kind of annoying and you kind of had to go out of your way to play pickleball. You had to have your own net. The nets are a little bit smaller. You had to play on a half court. You had to hope that the tennis court wasn't taken up so you could play. Yeah, it's fun to play, and you'd play it at the campground or whatever, or you like played at your grandmother's nursing home when you go visit her the last time before you decide to spread her ashes across the court. But other than that, it's never been this like big, huge thing. It makes sense from a marketing standpoint if you think about any of these brands who produce clothing or equipment or whatever, to look at all of their other sports related equipment and clothing sort of plateau, and finally the next big thing is something that they already have. All they have to do is just create the demand for this sort of forgotten about stepchild game. All they have to do is create the demand for this like forgotten about stepchild sport that involves some weird paddle that you found in your mom's drawer with like a weird leather face mask thing. Is that just me? So anyway, go grab your mom's paddle out of her drawer and a wiffle ball from your neighbor Stewie. So go grab the paddle out of your mom's drawer and then steal the wiffle ball from your little neighbor Timmy, and just go find a court and start hitting it. But the good thing is you don't have to move a lot. You can kind of stay kind of close and the net's smaller. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, pickleball, I think, is a mix of opportunity and artificial demand. There was the opportunity to increase sales and interest around something that these brands could already create and manufacture themselves. All they had to do was find the right influencers or people to promote it, find the places for people to play, dump a bunch of money into possibly infrastructure and events and social media campaigns and advertising, and there you go. You've got the recipe for the perfect pickle. So what do you guys think? Like, are you gonna go out and sling your pickle paddle around or what? I know I am. just watch the intro of this video and tell me you don't want to go sling your pickle around a little bit. Yeah, guys, so let me know below, like, are you guys gonna go play pickleball now? Or are you going to stick it to the man and not play because you're privy to all of their little tricks and artificial demand? Now, for real, let me know, guys, like, are you already playing pickleball? Did you think that its meteoric rise was a little weird, or are you just kind of like staying out of the pickle lane? Thanks again so much for watching. I know this is sort of a deviation from my last few videos. I've had this video idea in my mind for like a month, but I've just been kind of like caught up in all the drama stuff and haven't had time to make this yet. So yeah, now I've got the time to actually make this, and I'm gonna stay back from all the drama for a little bit. I don't wanna be like just a drama YouTuber, I wanna be a commentary YouTuber, and part of that is talking about things that just genuinely interest me. If you watched my JoJo Siwa video, I talked about rebranding and how to do it from a strategic standpoint. For those of you who don't know, I work in content marketing, so these are the kind of things that I'm thinking about throughout the day. And I wanna kind of like bring these ideas and thoughts to you guys so that you think in like a different way and maybe like look at things a different way. Not wanna be here to tell you how to think about it, but just give you a new and fun, creative way to think about things. Anyway, I'm gonna go outside and throw my little pickle around, and I will see you guys next time.